The chapter starts, and we learn it's year 2086. We see a spaceship hovering over Earth, 30,000 meters above Nevada, a state of western US. We learn that it's an alien spaceship, and the aliens identify themselves as Simurians. In the spaceship, there are nearly 50,000 of these aliens, and they have came to Earth seeking sanctuaries as refugees. We see, as it looks to be the leader of the Simurian race, learn about Japan. And he says that he thought America was the strongest country on Earth to two other aliens. The shorter alien amongst the two says that the leader is correct, but he also says that America just maintains the all authority, and the diplomatic missions are done by Japan. The alien then puts his finger in his forehead, and it seems that he had learned something. The leader asks the alien if he had found something. The alien replies that people in Japan has similar powers as them, and opening his third eye, he says that people on Earth call them Jujutsu sorcerers. We shift the scene to a 6-year-old Yuka Akotsu playing with her grandfather, who is none other than Yuta Akotsu, and he tells Yuka that she is Grandpa's little girl. In the next panel, Grandpa Yuta gives Yuka the ring of Rika. Yuka asks him if he is sure about it as it is his treasure. Yuta says he is more worried about her being too reckless. He also says that the ring will watch over her until she becomes a full-fledged sorcerer, and tells her to work hard. And little Yuka says excitingly that she will work super hard. 4 years later, we see Yuta has passed away. But to everyone, Maki's early death was even more unexpected. Yuka, holding her grandpa's coffin, promises to herself that she will become as strong as her grandpa. In the next moment, Yuka's mom asks her for the ring that Grandpa Yuta gave her. Yuka asks her mom why she wanted the ring. Her mom says it belongs to Yuka's brother, and we learn that his name is Tsurugi. Hearing this, Yuka fights back, saying Grandpa Yuta gave it to her. But her mom says that the ring is registered as Gojo Plan's cursed object, and Yuka has no rights to it. The next moment, we see Yuka furiously walk towards someone and demands the ring, saying that it is important to her and Grandpa Yuta, and that someone is none other than 11-year-old Tsurugi, Yuka's older brother. Tsurugi says not to blame him, as he is not the one who made the call. Yuka then tells Tsurugi to give her back the ring then, while trying to throw a punch at him. But in the next scene, we see Yuka is the one who gets beaten up. Yuka then says to herself she will become strong and become worthy of the ring while training. The next panel, we see someone playing retro game with a kid while talking about it. The person asks the kid if it's okay for kids to play this game as it is too violent. But the kid says it is totally normal. The guy says it's okay if it's okay with him. The guy then proceeds to say if it is normal for the kid, then he won't mind if it really happened to him then. The next scene, we see a 16-year-old Yuka and a 17-year-old Tsurugi with another person who looks to be a Jujutsu assistant. The assistant says that the recent case of Japanese people being abducted for their cursed energy is becoming very serious. He orders the three of them to investigate the scene and report any lead to the higher-ups. He also warns them, as frequent abductions are also occurring even in Kyoto, which is where they reside. And they suspect sorcerers to be involved in this case, as police can't find any clues. Yuka, agreeing to everything, asks the assistant what does he mean by the three of them. Right after that, we see someone come, and he looks similar to the alien we saw in the beginning. The alien, disguised as an inspector, introduces himself as Merulu and tells them to just call him Meru. Seeing Meru, Yuka states that Jujutsu sorcerers from other country is unusual. This surprises Meru and he asks if it is unusual. Yuka replies to Meru saying that cursed energy is an emotional energy, so it is special to Japanese people only. But there are exceptions like Meru himself. Meru then realizes Japanese people are being abducted to be used of their cursed energy. The assistant says that they are right and also said that Japanese people are sold for a high price at black market. But hearing this, Tsurugi gets furious and asks the assistant why Meru doesn't even know this much. And we see it really gets to Meru. Tsurugi continues saying that he would be too anxious to do anything near Meru. Yuka tells Tsurugi to calm down and says that they're just investigating and it's not like they're fighting against cursed users. Meru gets a bit puzzled about the term cursed users and asks about it. But ignoring Meru, Tsurugi tells Yuka that no one knows what could happen and asks if he really needs to spell everything out for her. This starts a quarrel between the siblings, and Yuka says she knows that, and if Meru gets in their way, they would just leave him. Tsurugi says that they can't safely leave Meru behind when he will actually get in their way. While this is happening, Meru constantly keeps asking them about curse users and asks why they are not called Jujutsu sorcerers. And Meru keeps doing this until both of the siblings snaps at him, and both of them yells at Meru's face that curse users are bad Jujutsu sorcerers, and if he keeps talking, they'll leave him behind. This scares Meru, and he says to himself that those two were vicious. The assistant says that Meru came on an official visit representing his state to see what Japanese sorcerers are about. Yuka states that the assistant Usami said that there will be routine inspection after signing the security treaty. Meru gets serious and says that he will see for himself what the siblings are made of. All this while saying to himself that he will need to learn about humans and see if they could coexist with the Simurians. After Usami takes his leave, Meru tells the Okutsu siblings to not to rely on him, as he had received orders from the higher-ups to not to interfere. Hearing this, Yuka and Tsurugi runs away, leaving him behind, saying that they're leaving him behind and he's already causing them trouble. Yuka leaves him saying that she can't stand his stand-up attitude. And Tsurugi leaves him saying that Meru isn't a state guest or anything. This leaves Meru completely speechless, and after some time, we see him at a riverbank sitting and crying to himself. In the next panel, Yuka approaches Meru, telling him not to cry about it, because it makes them look like the bad guys. This again makes Meru speechless, as Yuka can't see her mistakes. But it quickly gets interrupted by Meru's growling stomach. In the next moment, we see Meru really enjoying his takoyaki, and Yuka says to him that he can get it anywhere in Kansai and Osaka. After eating, Meru and Yuka chats, and Meru says that he can tell Yuka and Tsurugi are siblings and they are really close. But Yuka tells Meru that they don't get along as he has taken her most prized possession, which is Rika's ring. Meru asks if he had stolen it from her, but Yuka replies that her mom took it from her and gave it to his brother as only the best sorcerers can have it. Meru asks if Tsurugi really is that strong. But Yuka says all Tsurugi does is work out like a maniac. Yuka continues saying that he is an attention seeker and he does it because he doesn't want to give her back the ring. Finally standing up, Yuka says that Tsurugi doesn't even have any memories with Grandpa Yuta and continues saying that she is also working really hard. After this, Yuka gets a bit upset. So to cheer her up, Meru suggests Yuka to complete the mission with him so they can show everyone how good Yuka really is. He also says that since he is the inspector, all the credit for completing the mission will go to Yuka. But Yuka turns it down, saying that actions on one's own like that is forbidden. Hearing this, Meru couldn't find anything to say. But Yuka comes up saying that she never said she wouldn't do it. But Yuka tells Meru to not to help her in the mission. And Meru says that it's okay as long as he doesn't use cursed energy. So they look around for a while but couldn't find anything. Meru gets frustrated, but Yuka tells him that she found something while noting something. Meru asks what it is. Yuka asks Meru where he'd turn, showing him different roads of the end. After Meru answered, Yuka gave him the note, and Meru gets surprised as Yuka has guessed Meru's answers earlier. But Meru gets serious and tells her not to play games. But Yuka explains Meru that the road had physical gaze manipulation and a curse cast upon it, and says that the sorcerer could lead stray wanderers and curious children where they intend. They then realize it is a barrier technique that activates when someone follows the path in a specific order. Meru says it is a perfect way for kidnapping children, and they can't let the criminal get away. After this, Meru tells Yuka that she is amazing and says that everyone will now see how great she is. Hearing this, Yuka praises herself, but Tsurugi, who is coming from behind, calls them. This catches Meru off guard, and Tsurugi asks them where the hell they have been. Hearing this, a frightened Meru asks himself if Tsurugi doesn't remember that he's the one who left Meru behind. But Tsurugi asks them if they could sense the barrier, saying that they'd get caught if they follow the path of the barrier. This surprises Meru, and he asks Tsurugi if he can see the barrier. Tsurugi says him that he can see the barrier and tells them to wait a second as he is bringing a tool. Meru says sorry to Yuka, and Yuka says him not to worry about it as it is not his fault. But Meru still tries to convince Yuka. Yuka asks Meru why he's letting this thing get to him so much. Meru replies, saying that he has a younger twin brother, but they don't get along very well. He also says he has tried to patch it many times, but it never worked out. Yuka asks them why are they fighting. Meru says that there's no particular reason. It's just that his brother calls him clumsy and it just pisses him off. Meru continues saying that it hurts him that they don't understand each other. And the thought of this going forever really hurts him. And he doesn't want them to feel the same pain like him. So he wanted them to settle this whole ring thing and make up. But Yuka tells him to stop projecting how siblings should be just because it doesn't get along with his. And she says that it happens between siblings. After a silent moment, Meru, with a concerned face, thinks to himself if Yuka's subtle emotions are totally gone. But Yuka tells him she doesn't care about her brother as long as she gets the ring back. In the next moment, we see everyone are in front of an alley. Tsurugi says if their reading is correct, this is where the path starts. Tsurugi, with a warning tape, says that he has finished the report. Tsurugi continues saying that even if they don't block all the paths, blocking that path would be enough to prevent the barrier technique from activating. After blocking the path, they relax a bit, but a kid suddenly runs past them into the alley. They try to stop the kid and yells out for him, but when the kid turns around, a large pair of hands come from behind and grabs him, and the kid suddenly disappears. Tsurugi realizes they are up against a top-tier curse user, and they have been following the same path as the kid. Tsurugi tells Yuka and Maru to report this to Usami, and says that he's going after the kid. Yuka says she'll go with him, but Tsurugi rejects it. Yuka asks Tsurugi why she can't go with him. He replies saying that he will prove he's stronger than her. Yuka tells Tsurugi to shut up and says that she will go with him. And Yuka comes right beside Tsurugi. But suddenly the pair of hands come again and grabs Tsurugi. And he also disappears, but his sword doesn't. Maru asks why Tsurugi's sword didn't disappear. Yuka realizes the sword didn't disappear because it's a cursed tool. Yuka tells that the barrier is repelling anything with too much cursed energy. Maru says Tsurugi is also a sorcerer, so why did he get transported? Yuka replies saying that Tsurugi is a special case. Maru realizes the situation is really bad, but Yuka tells him to calm down and says that they should go back and report this to Usami. Maru asks her if she isn't going to go and help Tsurugi. Yuka replies by asking where exactly should they go. Meru says that he has a plan and if it works, they can find Tsurugi. But Yuka takes it as a bluff and says that she has zero motivation to save Tsurugi. She continues saying that Tsurugi was practically harassing her. Meru asks if Usami can come right away if they call him. Yuka replies saying that Usami should be at Tokyo by then. Meru says it's too dangerous and that they should look for Tsurugi themselves. But Yuka doesn't cooperate. Meru gets angry by this and says that if anything happens to Tsurugi, then Yuka will regret it for the rest of her life. Meru continues saying that no matter how much big of a problem they have between themselves, they should not curse each other like that because they're siblings. Yuka replies saying that Meru doesn't know anything and he's pushing his ideas on her. Meru replies saying that there's nothing wrong to have ideas. And he continues saying that if she should give up on her ideas, she should do it after she is hurt. Hearing this, Yuka says she won't go to save Tsurugi, but she will go to punch his face. The scene shifts to the retro gamer we saw from before, talking to a restrained Tsurugi. He says to Tsurugi, the pattern of Kyoto roads perfectly match with his curse technique. But Tsurugi calls that person dumb as he set his base right beside Jujutsu High. But the guy asks Tsurugi, who is really dumb, as Tsurugi is the one who is tied up in front of him. The guy then says that as Tsurugi is a Jujutsu sorcerer, he should know. But Tsurugi doesn't realize what he is talking about. The guy, realizing this, says to Tsurugi that aliens have came to Earth. After saying this, both of them stay silent for a moment. But Tsurugi takes it as a bluff. After this, the guy says that unfortunately what he says is true. He continues saying that the aliens are estimated to be a Sukuna level threat that occurred 68 years ago. Tsurugi is extremely surprised by this and says it's impossible while calling Sukuna a monster. But the guy continues saying that all the diplomacy with the aliens are left up to Japan. And he says that cultural barriers between planets are inevitable. He says that he believes aliens will start a war and it will expose Japan's true colors. Tsurugi asks what he means by that, to which the guy says that 68 years ago, the Culling Games promoted the signing of treaty and says that Gojo Satoru and Yuji Itadori were there to stop it. But there are no exceptional people like them now. He continues saying that when the world will find about this, the value of sorcerers will plummet and says that that is the reason why he is quitting this job. He says that he is quitting human trafficking. He continues saying that he will make one last sale and profit by selling Tsurugi. Tsurugi realizes the guy is not killing him because he sees him as a product, and Tsurugi mockingly asks him if he and the kid will be in the same set. The guy says no and says that the child has already been packed, showing Tsurugi multiple packets with children's inside of them. He continues saying that he would put Tsurugi up for auction. He gets up and while walking towards Tsurugi, he says that he's fed up with kids as they're dirty and irritating. He continues saying that the more he speaks with kids, the more he hates them. Tsurugi with a smirk tells the guy he's the same as those kids and continues saying that at least the kids are cute. But the guy comes up to Tsurugi and starts kicking him. And the guy tells Tsurugi that he can scream all he wants, but no one will find him. But suddenly, the door of that place comes flying towards the guy and hits him. And we see Maru and Yuka are the ones who did it. We see in the flashback that Meru uses his so-called curse technique. Meru tells Yuka that his curse technique will find the perfect match of her. In other words, Tsurugi. Yuka is a bit worried about it, but Meru tells her no one will know about it. We come back to present and everyone gets ready to face the guy. But Yuka suddenly challenges Tsurugi to a fight and starts attacking him. They throw hands at each other for a bit, but Tsurugi blocks one of Yuka's attack and throws a counter. The counter was enough to defeat Yuka, and she realizes Tsurugi is very strong. She gets up and says that it's time to fight the bad guy. Yuka hits the guy with a savage jaw strike. The guy takes the hit and teleports behind Yuka by placing a talisman. He hits her with a hammer, but Yuka was able to block it. This pisses off Tsurugi and he takes his blade from Maru. We learn that the curse tool's name is Honoyagi and it is capable of generating sparks. And the text says that the sparks are infused into the blade. Tsurugi then uses simple domain, which is called battle, sword drawing, and flames come out of Tsurugi's katana, which starts burning all the talismans. The guy barely manages to avoid the attack. But Yuka suddenly comes out and uses Savage Jaw Strike and hits the guy with a move called Biting Twist. And they were able to defeat the guy. But Miru's hair gets caught on fire and he's trying to blow it out. In the next scene, Miru confirms that the kids are okay, but Tsurugi tells him to not to touch the kids and that they should call an adult. Tsurugi then calls Yuka and says her that she has gotten stronger. He continues saying that he will work hard so that he can give her back the ring. Sweet home Alabama.
Hey, editor here. I want to say one thing to the narrator. Why the fuck did you add this shit here, motherfucker? What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, back to the video again.
After this, we get a flashback of a 7-year-old Tsurugi who is always playing with his grandma. And we see Grandma Maki tells Tsurugi that he is a lot like her. She continues saying that Tsurugi grows stronger through losses. The scene changes and we see that Tsurugi actually heard Grandpa Yuta and Yuka's conversation, where Grandpa Yuta gives Yuka Rika's ring. Tsurugi then goes to his grandma and tells her that he also wants a ring. Grandma Maki then tells him that the ring is a protective charm and Tsurugi doesn't need it because he's strong. Tsurugi gets flattered after hearing this and he smiles to himself. And 4 years later, on Yuta's funeral, Tsurugi's mom gives Tsurugi Yuka's ring. When Tsurugi asks why she is giving it to him, she replies saying that he needs it the most. Tsurugi tells her that he doesn't need something like that, but his mom says that it is the Gojo clan's decision, and what he wants is irrelevant. This really gets to Tsurugi and he barges out yelling. Tsurugi, then recalling his grandma's words, swears to make them say, "You don't need the ring, you're Maki's grandson after all." He then says sorry to Yuka in his thoughts and tells her to wait until then. We come back to the present, where Yuka tries to ask Tsurugi what does he mean, but gets interrupted by the guy who is currently restrained. He calls them idiots and activates his technique, which gets connected with the kids. Yuka and Tsurugi realizes it and tries to do something, but the guy says that he has already secured a buyer. But suddenly, we see an eye open, and we see it's Meru's third eye, which attacks the guy with something like psychic power. Yuka and Tsurugi are surprised by this. Yuka asks Meru what that was, and Tsurugi, after realizing what just happened, asks Meru if he is an alien.